What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the real reason why Daniel Bryan has signed with AEW and his leaked plans, Samoa Joe returns to the ring, Jeff Hardy lives rent-free in Karrion Kross's head, Queen of the Ring coming to the WWE, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now, our first story looks at the real reason why Daniel Bryan has signed with AEW and plans which have been leaked. Now, topping the news today, has Bryan Danielson, aka WWE superstar Daniel Bryan, signed with AEW? Well, that is the hottest rumor going around in wrestling, as Bodyslam.net is reporting that one of pro wrestling's hottest free agents has signed with All Elite Wrestling. First, let's see what's been reported, then focus on when fans might expect Bryan and why he apparently chose AEW over the WWE. Keep in mind that AEW has not confirmed that the leader of the Yes Movement has signed, but in this case, we're taking the where there's smoke, there's fire approach. In an exclusive report, Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes revealed, in an update as to the future of Bryan Danielson, formerly known as Daniel Bryan, a source I've spoken to has told me that he's locked in and 100% already signed a contract with AEW. Naturally, this is massive news, as fans have wondered what Danielson would do once his WWE contract expired. As many reported that he won't sign with AEW, he's just going to take time off to be a father. Obviously not. As previously reported, there were rumors that the WWE had taken the superstar out of plans for merchandise, as well as 2K's upcoming 2K22 video game. It appears AEW may be saving Danielson's debut for its big show in New York City this September. In another exclusive, Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes revealed the plans. The plan is for Bryan Danielson to make his AEW debut on September 22nd when AEW heads to Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York City. The plan was to hold off debuting Danielson until after all of their plans for All Out were wrapped up and to bring him in after the pay-per-view. However, with the news of CM Punk's potential AEW debut may have caused plans to change. AEW is known for its long-term booking, where storylines have a clear-cut start, middle and ending. While plans can change due to injuries and other unexpected issues, the company tends to stick closely to its blueprint. If Danielson is signed already, AEW's plan to hold off on his debut until a time when it feels is the right moment is a reminder of the company's patience and confidence in its booking plans. So why did Daniel Bryan sign with AEW over the WWE? Well, the real reason comes from Bodyslam.net, who reported, in addition, I was told that Danielson was wanting to work less dates for comparable money. He wanted the ability to be able to work in Japan and wanted to have creative input on his character, which he got. If the reports of Bryan signing with AEW are true, and again, this has not been confirmed, it seems to confirm the idea that New Japan Pro Wrestling has no plans of working with the WWE. There's no indication on how much Bryan is making, but it sounds as if AEW made him an offer he can't refuse in terms of money, dates, and the ability to work in New Japan. While the wrestling world waits for confirmation of Bryan's signing, the usually reliable WrestleVotes tweeted an interesting tidbit. Regarding the Daniel Bryan rumor, since I've got a ton of questions on it, I don't have many direct AEW contacts. However, I did ask my WWE contacts when's the last time Bryan's name has been brought up within creative or even talked about. Months was the answer, so that's that. This would support the previously mentioned rumors that Daniel Bryan was not being included in WWE merchandise or 2K22. His signing, along with the rumors of CM Punk negotiating with AEW, stress that Tony Khan has no intent of resting on his laurels. Naturally, questions of whether AEW is expanding its roster too much, and especially in light of recent reports the company is currently operating in the red, will continue, but the potential payoff in ratings and pay-per-views may make this a moot point. It's difficult to imagine Bryan and/or Punk not helping AEW reaching even greater heights, particularly as its third hour of cable television is ready to launch. Furthermore, if Bryan and/or Punk sign with AEW, it's a reminder that AEW has become a viable alternative not only for wrestling fans, but for wrestlers. What do you think of Daniel Bryan signing with AEW? Let us know in the comments down below. But will the rumored signing influence CM Punk? Or one of the most compelling questions coming out of his rumored signing is how it'll affect CM Punk's negotiations to return to wrestling. While the details of Punk talking about a return to the ring are vague, it's difficult to believe that Daniel Bryan's rumored contract with AEW isn't causing the WWE to press harder to get Punk back in the WWE. Does the WWE need Punk at this point? Probably not, as it has plenty of superstars and legends on its roster. Nevertheless, Punk is a high-value wrestler who the WWE may be willing to pay an exorbitant amount of money in order to keep him away from AEW. At the same time, Punk may let the WWE and AEW engage in a bidding war with every intention of going to AEW, considering the straight-edge superstar's negative experience with the WWE at the end of his run with the company. Our fans will have to see what happens, but both Bryan and Punk's free agent status has fans buzzing about what's next. It's hard to recall a time when the competition has been this hot for the promotions to sign top free agents. Next up, Samoa Joe is cleared to wrestle. There's great news for Samoa Joe fans, as Joe has been cleared to wrestle. Wrestling News' Paul Davis recently reported on a taping for next week's edition of NXT, saying, during an in-ring segment, Joe told NXT General Manager William Regal that he would be resigning from his position as Regal's enforcer. Regal was about to fire Kross, but then agreed to Joe's request and the contract was signed. This was of course the follow-up to the 20th July edition of NXT that saw Kross destroy William Regal backstage, then flee from Joe. Now Joe will face Karrion Kross at NXT TakeOver 36, currently scheduled for 22nd August, the night after SummerSlam. The Samoan submission machine has been on the shelf thanks to a concussion he suffered in 2020 during a commercial. Fans were curious when Joe might return to the ring, only for the WWE to release him earlier this year before signing him up for NXT. The Joe vs Kross match has been hinted at ever since Joe returned to the black and gold brand, taking the job of William Regal's special enforcer, but this could be one of the biggest matches in NXT history, as well as a way to write Karrion Kross off NXT and send him to the main roster. Whilst we're on the subject of Karrion Kross, fans hijack his segment on NXT. Now, Bodyslam.net is reporting that the fans at the aforementioned NXT taping hijacked a segment featuring the NXT champion. According to Trent Osborne, Kross was showered with chants of Hardy from the moment he entered the arena. The segment, which saw the NXT champ cutting a promo on Samoa Joe before escaping the ring as Joe made a run-in, was so taken over by the Hardy chants that NXT had to reshoot the entire segment at the end of the night. Osborne went on to add that NXT staff even had to trick fans into staying. They even lied to us and said something special was going to happen so we wouldn't leave. One source said, a crew member told me that the show wasn't over. We tried to leave. He told us there was a surprise. Now we don't know what's funnier, the fact that the fans dumped on Kross for his loss to Hardy, or the fact that WWE felt it had to reshoot a segment. Once again, this incident confirms that fans are gonna fan. Next up, Velveteen Dream has been pulled from an indie show. Now, in a classic case of now you see him, now you don't, former NXT superstar Velveteen Dream has apparently been pulled from an indie show. According to Wrestle Talk, the promotion of Superstars of Wrestling tweeted Dream would be appearing at an upcoming show. SWF Wrestling and the Trifecta are happy to announce that formerly known as Velveteen Dream will be making his first wrestling appearance since his WWE departure, live on September 11th at SWF Wrestling Home Sweet Home event at Tommy Rivers YMCA. Wrestling fans voiced their displeasure online, reminding the promotion of the past allegations made against Velveteen Dream during his time in the WWE. Just an hour later though, tonight we announced Velveteen Dream would be appearing at our Home Sweet Home event. I believe any man can be slandered, and having been through other situations in my life unrelated but untrue, after careful consideration, Dream has been removed. And finally, WWE running a Queen of the Ring tournament. Last but not least, even during its worst years, remember King Mabel, the WWE's King of the Ring tournament has been a popular event with fans, and now it looks like the WWE's female superstars are about to get a tournament to crown the best of the best. According to a tweet from Wrestling Inc., Wrestling Inc. has learned that WWE will be doing a Queen of the Ring tournament this year. You may recall rumors that executives from USA Network and Fox asked the WWE to consider ways of increasing the ratings for both Raw and SmackDown, with ideas including the return of the King of the Ring and Raw Roulette. A Queen of the Ring tournament could be a good way to give a singles push to someone from the WWE's women's undercard, which hasn't been promoted very well. Seriously, we should now get Queen Morgan, right? Who do you think should be Queen this year? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.